everybody, and welcome to Thursday, October 14th. For today, chicos, today is our review day. I wanted to go over a little bit one more time, Call the King of Maisie May. Sorry, guys. Okay, so for today, our EQ changed. How does central conflict drive a story? Okay, I wanted you guys to look at conflict today, so that's what we are doing. For your do now, I know I normally would start you with Quill or your 30-day. Today I want you guys to work on your think questions. You need that time, so I had you guys work on your think questions. And then I had you work on your conflict in the King of Maisie May. Okay, and then we did some final King of Maisie May review for tomorrow. My honors classes, you guys did the review. My 3-4, you did not get there, but you did do conflict today. Okay, so let's get into it. So discussion questions. One of my classes had not quite finished up the discussion, so we had our discussion again. We had our King of Maisie May think questions. Then I had you guys do an intro to conflict. So I'm opening up this PowerPoint. In class, I gave you this paper. I'm going to see if I can stretch it out a little bit. So I gave you this paper that featured, it had your Cornell notes for the day that you took. It also had a what's the conflict all about page where we did some examples on conflicting. And then you had this last page where it was conflict and it had the little paw prints, and it's a little bit more about the King of Maisie. Sorry about that, you guys. All right, and this is the conflict for King of Maisie May, okay? So while I am giving out this presentation, my expectation, this is also going to be uploaded to Google Classroom. My expectation is that you are following along with the Cornell notes. You guys know the format, you're taking notes, okay? I'm going to go through the presentation at this moment. So, let's learn a little bit more about conflict, shall we? So, conflict, what is conflict? Well, chicos, conflict is the struggle. I'm sorry, guys. So, intro to conflict. What is conflict? Conflict is a struggle between opposing forces that creates tension or suspense in a story, okay? It is two opposite things that want different things, okay? Like this cat and mouse that are in the image, they're pulling, they're tug-of-war because they want separate things, okay? There are two kinds of conflict. Today we learned about external and internal. Remember, external conflict takes place outside of the character, okay? So when you think external, you think outside, that exit. When you think internal conflict, it's a struggle that takes place inside a character's mind, okay? That's inside of us as people. So, for external conflict, there are three types that we learned about. The first one is character versus character. This is when one person does wrong to another person, or there is conflict or issues between two people, okay? Sometimes it can be other people, as long as we know their name. This is character versus character. This is conflict between two characters. You can also have a conflict within nature. This is character versus nature, okay? So you see this little guy, he's freezing, okay? He has a conflict with the nature that is around him. In this case, is an Arctic. This may or may not also go back to the King of Maisie May. What are one of the conflicts in the story? You could say that it is nature. Okay, the other type of conflict is the character versus their society, okay? A society may not want that character to be in such a way so that the character is conflicting with them. So this character right here, he's dressed differently from his society, so they're shocked. Okay, he's in conflict with them. Okay. Internal conflict, so all three of those are external conflict. This internal conflict is a struggle that takes place inside a character's mind. It can also be referred to as character versus the self. So, for example, this woman, she's looking at this delicious chocolate cake and knows that she wants to be fit and healthy, so she shouldn't eat it. She is having an internal conflict inside of herself, okay? I want you also to know, when it comes to opposing forces, that every type of conflict involves a character versus something else. Versus means against or opposed to, okay? We use the abbreviation versus more often than the word itself. So, opposing forces, being versus someone, it's kind of like playing tug-of-war. One force is pulling in one direction, and another force is pulling in the opposite direction. You might find strong negative emotions are confused with conflict. Okay, they signal conflict, but they are not the actual conflict themselves. So if a character is scared, what are they scared of? That thing that they are scared of is the actual conflict, chicos. So, for example, in The King of Maisie May, Walt is in fear of his life because of the claim jumpers, all right? The men with the beard who are chasing after him. So, the fear is not the conflict. The conflict are the people who are chasing him. That is an external conflict, okay? So, that's how the emotions work. They are like our context clues, okay? I didn't have you guys do this because it kind of deviated away from what we're doing. So that was our brief intro to conflict. Again, I had you guys take notes on that Cornell sheet. Then I had you guys turn around to page 2. Notice this handy dandy little worksheet right here where it says person versus self, person versus person, person versus nature, person versus society. It's literally what we went over. I had you guys actually go through these examples and list whether they were internal, external, or both. And if they were both, what kind of external conflict they were. For example, I'm going to do, let's see. I'm going to do number 4 right here. Ava knew her parents were displeased with her for skipping her family dinner to spend time with her friend. At the time, she thought she was making the right choice. Now she wasn't so confident that she had. What kind of conflict is this? Well, this would be actually an example of both kinds of conflict. Okay? Ava is unsure and she's not confident that she made the right choice to skip this dinner. That's inside herself. So that is internal conflict inside. But Ava knew her parents were displeased. So her parents are actively displeased. That is external conflict, okay? Not only is it external, it's also person versus person. So since Ava knows who her parents are, this is another person. We know them by name. That's why it's person versus person, not person versus like a society at large. Remember, you guys, I told you society is the blob. Okay. Conflict. Some of my classes got to conflict. Some of them didn't. I will briefly touch on it, but tomorrow's video will have a little bit more on it. So conflict is, again, here's man versus man, or person versus person, character versus character, man versus nature, person versus society, or person versus themselves. This is internal conflict right here. I had you guys identify each type of conflict in The King of Maisie May. I had you write what it was. So, for example, I will do character versus character. It will be Walt versus the claim jumpers, or versus the men chasing him. They have a name. I forget it at the moment. Who is the conflict with? Then I had you guys find a quote directly from the story. Okay, find a quote directly showing that conflict. Then I had you guys draw an image. Okay, you're going to do that for all 4 of these, and then you guys are going to answer the questions at the bottom. There's about 4 questions. What is the gang's purpose for being on the Maisie May? What is Walt's purpose while his father and Lauren Hall are away? Explain how these opposing purposes cause a conflict, and how is the conflict between Walt and the men resolved. Okay, that's what you guys did in class. Again, I'll go over it a little bit more in tomorrow's video. Alright, so that was our day full of conflict. One of my classes got to the Maisie May review, where we reviewed on Book It, just conflict in general. Okay, that was our exit ticket. Alright guys, as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. And other than that, I'll see you guys in class. Bye.